picks up the spare. They'll bring up Friend for the Cougars. This Calvin Castline, we're still getting set up here, but we're well into the game. This is Section 7 bowling. This is the Cougar A team. Our opponents on the lanes are Sentinels from Ticonderoga. As those of you who've seen our coverage of sectional bowling before know, we cover the Cougars and not really interested in the other teams. Everybody is bowling against everybody here. The Plattsburgh High School Hornets are the defending champions. We have their B team next to us here, but you don't see their A team. This is there's the totals so far for the Cougars. We're in the third frame. If we can darken that up a bit. Cody Hampton up now on lane 23 for the Cougars. He'll be starting the fourth frame. Ends up with a split. And he'll get a field goal out of it. Gives him a 52 through the fourth frame. It's his second open. We got Adam Bayshard up. We'll be going to the girls, Cougar girls next, and then we'll probably come back here to the A boys, although we'll take a peek at the B boys. Everybody is bowling against everybody else. It's all scratch here at the sectionals. They are just going to barely miss that spare. So whoever does the best today is the sectional champions. The Cougar girls are the defending champions, and the Plattsburgh High School boys, our A team, are the defending boys champions for Section 7. In addition, also send all-stars based on the season-long average from the sectional. Those are from the teams that don't make the championship round. Chris Burley gets 7 pins on his first ball. He gets 9 for the frame. I'll bring up Charles Martin. Or, as the scoreboard says, Charlie Martin. The Cougar scores are over on this side. Three opens so far here in the fourth frame for the Cougars. We've got Hampton starting the fifth frame, and he starts it with a strike. And Martin will pick up his spare.
Well, it's just a reminder that if you have any trouble or any questions you have to make sure you talk to your coaches. If something goes wrong and you want an explanation, see your coaches.
Bayshard leaves a 1-3-9 with Friend. And Josh Friend leaves a 10-pin. Adam Bayshard bowling in the fifth frame. Picks up his spare. Here's Friend. And Friend. Picks up his spare in the fourth. Now Chris Burley for the Cougars in the fifth. Hampton for the strike, Bayshard for the spare, so the Cougars are marking so far here in the fifth. Here's Burley, and he gets 9 of them on his first frame, leaving the 5 pin. Team total, they'll bowl 3 games in the morning, take a lunch break, and bowl 3 games in the afternoon. The 6-game total will determine who the sectional champion is. Just picking it up. There's Burley. Got it by a whisker. I'll bring up Charlie Martin. Saturday morning, February 12th. Abraham Lincoln's birthday. We have basketball at Northeastern. It'll be starting at 11, so we'll get out of here as soon as we complete our 3rd game. We'll get to Northeastern somewhere in the middle of the JV game. Martin will pick up his spare. That'll get us to Josh Friend. Leaves another 10 pin. Left the 10 pin his last frame. And picked up the spare. He's got a couple of strikes and a couple of 10 pins left. And he'll pick it up. So Friend spares. Now starting the 6th frame for the Cougars, Cody Hampton. He's up from the B team. And he strikes. I'll bring up Adam Bayshard. And Bayshard leaves the 1, 3, 6. And leaves a wiggling head pin. He wiggled the number 1 pin, but just barely missing it. That's the first open for the Cougars in a while. They had 8 marks in a row. Burley leaves the 5 pin. Saturday morning, the bowling was supposed to start at 9:30. They started maybe a couple minutes before that. We arrived right at 9:30, but we know that they could start a little early or a little late. Usually when we're here early, they start a little late. So we figured we'd get here late so they'd start early. Charlie Martin up now for the Cougars. We're in the 6th frame. Martin has marked in every frame thus far. No strikes yet, but he's marked in every frame. He's got a spare every frame. He leaves a 4 pin. the most part, Martin has gotten 9 pins on his first ball, except for the third frame. He's going to pick up the spare. Yanked it a little to the left, but it stayed there long enough to pick up the spare. He'll bring up Josh Friend, the leading bowler for the Cougars.
Greg Keith, you have a telephone call. Greg Keith.
We don't have the Cougar averages. We are able to catch Kathy Young. We'll see if we can come up with those. Friend leaves the 4 pin. Here's what Friend has done so far. He has 2 strikes and 3 spares through 5 frames. Looking to spare here in the 6. He yanks it to the left and misses. Took the same route that Martin did, only his broke a little sooner. Meanwhile, I didn't realize that Hampton was up in the other lane. Hampton spares. That'll get us to Bayshard. Bayshard leaves the 1-2. Bayshard has an open in the 6th. There's Chris Burley. Burley picks off the 7 pin. So Burley will try to pick up the other 9. He puts it to the left. It's just 4 for the frame. Now Martin steps up. And Martin leaves a 1-2-4. Martin will pick up the spare. Now Josh Friend. Friend is marked. No, he had an open. Had his first open in the 6th. Looking to get back on track. And he leaves the 2 pin. Hampton up in the 8th frame for the Cougars. Leaves a 5-7. Friend will spare. Well, this is a tough spare for Hampton. It's a split. It's a baby split. Gave it a try. Adam Bayshard for the Cougars. He gets 7 pins. Left a 1-2-9. Well, it's not an easy spare, but it's doable. He picks off the 9. Now Chris Burley for the Cougars. He strikes. He strikes. I'll bring up Charlie Martin. Martin has spared in all 7 frames so far. See if he can get a strike this time, and he leaves the 7 pin. Martin going for a spare. And he will miss it, his first open. Josh Friend up now. And Friend leaves the 2 pin. Friend picks up his spare. If they were bowling just the Ticonderoga team, they'd be leading by quite a bit, by about 100 pins, but they're bowling against everybody here, all the boys at least. We'll move now to the 9th frame, Cody Hampton. Leaves a 10 pin on his first ball. And Hampton will cover his spare. Adam Baysard will step in. Baysard left to 5-9. No head pin to pick up this time. We'll see how he'll do. He will pick off the 9. Chris Burley working on a strike. Left the 1-2-8.
Kathy Steele, you have a telephone call. Kathy Steele.
We've got double wood on the 8 pin. He gets it. Picked it up. There's Charlie Martin. Martin left the 2-4-5. Waiting for the bowlers on the side of him to go. Now he'll go. And he'll pick up the spare. Now Josh Friend will step in. And working on a spare. He leaves a 5 pin. And Friend spares. I'll get us to the 10th frame. And Cody Hampton. Hampton gets a strike to start the 10th. He doubles. Oh, he's got a possible 166. And Hampton strikes out then his game with a 166. Baysard up now for the Cougars. And he strikes here in the 10th. Needs to get at least 5 of these to break 100. And he'll get them all. While striking a spare gives him a 102. Now Chris Burley up. Burley working on a spare. Leaves a 7 pin. With a spare and a strike, he could get a 157. Picks up the spare. Well, he's got a 147 plus his fill ball. He won't strike, but he'll get 7 of them. Well, it gives him a 154. Now Charlie Martin. He gets 9, leaving the 5. He's got a possible 176 with a spare and a strike. Gets the spare. Martin. With his fill ball. Gets 7 on his fill ball. So he ends with a 173. Josh Friend could end up in the 190s. But he needed to strike in that first one. Picks up the spare. So that gives him a 173 plus his fill ball. Yanks it to the left. But gets 9 on the fill ball, 182. Nice game for Josh Friend. Cougars have a team total of 777. They'll have to pick it up if they're going to compete. We're going to move along and see what else we can find. We have moved to the girls' game. And Diesel picks up the spare. Now Danielle Parker. 8 pins on her first ball. First thing I'm going to do when I'm elected King of the World is eliminate balloons at these sectionals. Parker will miss her spare. Here's Erin Sorrell. She's not happy with that one, but she gets 7. We're in the first frame here. Friend started off with a strike just before we got here. There's Sorrell. She spares. There's Danielle Tierney. And she gets 9 on her ball. And Tierney will pick up her spare. Megan Fran up now for the Cougars behind that balloon. Fran working on a strike. Left a 1-3-5. And she picks off the 1 pin. Diesel. Diesel spares. Danielle Parker. And Parker with a strike. Now Erin Sorrell up for the Cougars. Every year it's the same story here at the North Bowl. I try to tape. It's crowded conditions. You can accept the people being here. You want to see the families come up and cheer for their students, for their kids, and you want to see the fellow students here cheering. But the balloons we could do without. Spare for Sorrell. There's Danielle Tierney. And with with Friend starting on the third frame. We're going to turn the mic over to Jim Tierney, who's going to bring us up to date on a few items.
Okay, we'd like to welcome here to the sectionals. This is the second game of the girls, and that was Megan Friend that just bowled on lane 3. And Megan is averaging end of the year with a 134 average. Danielle Tierney, just seen her miss her spare. She ended up with a 176 average for the year. Going on lane number 3, we have Kelsey Deso, and Kelsey had a average of 138 to end the season. Again, sectionals here, they bowl a 6-game format. They bowl 3 games in the morning. They drew for lanes, and that's how you see Northeastern girls on lane 4 as Deso attempts her spare. And she's going to be crossing over and catches it and covers the back pin. Good spare by Deso. Then the second squad, they will be seated against however the first and second place team will seat against each other, bowling third, fourth, and so on. Again, there's 8 schools. As we see Danielle Parker, the only senior on the team, and she has a 128 average. If they do not make the states, this will be Danielle's final bowling appearance, and we wish her good luck. I will get an update in a few minutes on where all the standings were. The Northeastern girls started out a little sluggish, but then they picked up. Erin Sorrell ended with the last 7 in a row in the first game for a nice game of 218 as Parker picks up her spare. So again, over the averages, the final bowler that we have for an average, we have 142 for Erin Sorrell. Again, Erin had a beautiful game of 218, the first one, to help boost Northeastern to within, I believe they're within 30 pins of first place right now. She leaves 5 pins on her first shot. Again, this is a scratch event. Whatever pins you get, you have. No handicap involved. So I will bring you up to date on all the scores as I get them. They're still adding them up. And a thank you to ex-coaches from Northeastern, as Sorrell ends up getting 4 on that. Gets 9 for the frame. Bringing up the anchor bowler, Tierney. Again, Tierney had a 176 average. Tierney ends up leaving the 5 pin. So over the averages again, Tierney 176, Sorrell 142, the leadoff bowler Megan Friend 134, Deso ended with 138, and Danielle Parker 128. As Tierney attempts a 5 pin and she'll cover it. So the winner of the tournament, girls, they take the winner team plus their extra bowler, so there'll be 6 going down for the winning team. Then they will take the next 6 highest averages after that, match average only, and those will comprise of an all-star team. There will be a girls and a boys on both sides, as Megan Friend leads off the 4th frame with 7. She leaves the 1, 2, 4. So I'll turn the mic back over to Calvin as I will get the scores and pass them along.
Thank you, Jim Tierney, a former voice of Cougar bowling. And Friend will miss her spare. Now Deso up for the Cougars. And she strikes here in the 4th.
The girls. Bowling for October Valley for Dan Dunn, 222. Bowling for Northeastern Clinton, Erin Sorrell, 218.
Parker.
Bowling for Ticonderoga, Megan McDonough, 203. And Lena Alcott, 223. Fox, 223.
Parker going for a spare. She will miss it. Well gets 8 on her first ball.
253.
Well will miss her spare. This gets us to Tierney. We're here, as we said earlier, just for the morning games. We've got basketball at Northeastern. Tierney gets 8 for the frame. Now Megan Friend got her in the 5th frame. She's had good luck on this alley. She had strikes in the 1st and 3rd frames. And Friend picks up the spare. This is Kelsey Deso. Deso strikes. Bring up Danielle Parker. Pinched their fingers. And Parker strikes. Got to pinch her fingers more often. You have the paper there? Aaron Sorrell. And Sorrell gets a split. 4-6-7. She'll go for the wood, pick up the 4-7. All right, as Danielle Tierney steps in, here's Jim Tierney with more information.
As you see, Danielle Tierney throwing a strike. Okay, I have the updates after the first game. All right, as Megan Friend steps in here for the 6th frame, we're going to update you on the scores after the first game here, as Friend leaves the 8-pin. In first place of the girls is Saranac. They had 841. Ticonderoga follows them, 10 pins behind with 831. Beekmantown 829. NCCS, a very good finish the first game. They got 816, so they're 25 pins out of first, and PHS rounds it off 815. So again, there's 26 pins that separate the first five teams of the girls event. As Friend shoots, and she just barely gets the 8-pin. And on the boys' side, Platts PHS A team at 1060, followed by second by Peru A at 1012. Saranac A at 971. NCCS A had 777, so they're 283 pins off the pace after the first game. As we see Kelsey Deso step up, Kelsey going to cross over and leave just a 4-pin. Deso struggled to start the first 5 frames, but then she came back and brought her game back. She had 113. Friend ended with 160 the first game. Danielle Parker 136. Again, Aaron Sorrell led the Cougars with 218. Danielle Tierney rounded it off with a 189. So we have the NCCS A again, 777 from the boys' side as Kelsey Deso picks up her spare. They're 283 pins off the pace. NCCS B had a 725. They're 335 off the pace. So that was after the first game. There's 5 games to go here. This is the girls' action, the second game of the first set. We're in the second game, halfway through. We have Danielle Parker. As Danielle Parker ends up getting 7. So I'll turn the mic over back to Calvin. Again, they have some of the schools have extra bowlers that are around. If somebody's struggling or whatever, it's a scratch event, they'll send in their other bowler. I know if you go down to the States down there, if somebody's not bowling well, they have 2-3 of them that are just as good. They'll bring them right back in. As Parker misses her spare, gets 8 for the frame, and as we do that, we'll turn it over back to Calvin.
Thank you, Jim. Aaron Sorrell stepping up. And she drops them all for a strike. Danielle Tierney up now for Northeastern. And Tierney will strike. Cougars defending champions for the girls. Here's Friend. Of course, they graduated their anchor bowler. Actually, I don't think she bowled anchor, but the top bowler. Did Cassie bowl anchor last year?
Cassie bowled leadoff.
She bowled leadoff.
And then Megan Friend was the fourth one. Megan Sorrell. They graduated 2 girls.
Graduated 2 girls, Megan Sorrell and Cassie Roberts, who was one of the top bowlers in the CBAC. Her friend picks up her spare. Now here's Piso.
All right, Kel, bring it up.
And Piso gets 9 pins on her first ball. We won't be showing this on Channel 15 in Plattsburgh. Just for the folks in the Northern Tier to know, the team that the Cougars are bowling with here are the Peru Indians. The Beekmantown Eagles are next door here. We may have some Beekmantown bowlers in our Channel 24 viewing area. Parker with a strike. If so, we need to hear from those folks in West Shazy. Viewer-supported television. We can't support your kids unless you tell us who you are and you're supporting us. There's Aaron Sorrell. Obviously, it'd also be nice if the Northeastern families would also consider an obligation to support us on a regular basis. Sorrell has an opportunity for the coveted first ever 7-10 split on hometown cable. Gets a 7. Danielle Tierney's brother James always hoped that he'd be the first one to pick it up. He was always excited when he had a 7-10 split. Danielle Tierney with the strike.
And we have Megan Friend here bowling on lane 4, starting out the 8th frame for Northeastern. Friend leaves the 1-3-8 spare. Again, Megan had a nice 160 game, her first game, to go with her average of 134. Megan's increased her average a few pins there. Nice spare by Friend over the last 4 or 5 matches. Most of the girls bowled well towards the end. A few of them struggled. They just ended up coming in here, and Plattsburgh PHS beat them 4-0, but PHS bowled pretty well as Kelsey Diso strikes. Diso again, she bowled 113 her first game, but she's back in action here the second. She only got 1 open after 8 frames. Diso with a 138 average. Bringing up Danny Parker. Danny Parker had a 128 average here. Sorrell has 142 and Tierney at 176. In a moment we're going to go over the boys' averages. And we have their 6th bowler on the girls' team, who's Allison Grovine. She ended up with an average of 115. These are averages as of the end of the 54 games, matches, plus their practices, as Parker leaves the 3-5 spare. The boys, we have Adam Bayshard ended 144, Chris Burley 155, Charlie Martin 151, Mike Noggle 141, Josh Friend led the team at 180, Dylan Roberts 139, Caleb Hampton 107, Cody Hampton 137, Nick Paquette 131, Nick Decos 124, and their sub Ryan Saunders at 105 as Parker gets one of her 2 pins. And that'll bring up Sorrel. And again, we're here at North Bowl Lanes. This is sectional day as Sorrel crosses and leaves just a 6-pin. It's a scratch tournament. The winner goes to the Bowlers Club in Latham, New York on March 4th, March 5th. That will be the first weekend of March. There'll be actually a month will lapse between, almost a month here. As Sorrel will pick up her spare, Friend will be up on lane 3. Friend will get 6 pins. So the winning team goes plus their sub, so there's 6 off of that team, and then the next 6 highest averages for All-Stars. Match average only, which is what they bowled during their matches. And we see Danielle Tierney on a triple. She will throw a 4-bagger, so Tierney's keeping Northeastern in the game. Her and Deso are bowling pretty well this time. As Megan Friend misses her 4 pins up there. So as we go into the last 2 frames, I'm going to turn it over back to Calvin.
Thank you once again, Jim. And Deso leads the 7. Deso spares. Here's Parker. Parker gets a couple on her first ball. There's Parker. And she picks up her spare. Now Sorrel is up. Sorrel gets 6 on her first ball. And Sorrel gets 8 for the frame. We're in the 9th frame. There's Tierney, who's got 4 in a row. That's 5 in a row for Danielle Tierney. Gives her Olympic gold. Friend. Friend gets 9 for the frame. Here's Deso. Get out. Deso leaves a 10 pin. I'm falling down on the job here. Friend finishes with a 138. Deso's got a 177. She spares. She's got a possible 187. She'll pick it up. Ooh. So she'll get a fill ball. She's got a possible 188, obviously, not a 187. And she gets a 187. Danielle Parker, that close-up of her hair just to show that she's hasn't got blonde streaks. She's got ribbons in her hair. Yanks it to the left. 1, 8, 9, 10. Tough spare for Parker. She picks it up. What a spare, wow. What a pickup by Danielle Parker. Is there a possible 143? It's a 142. Just to give you an idea, they had an 8-16 in the first game that put them 25 pins off the lead.
All right, yes. One more time, Eric.
Sorrell with a strike. See if we can zoom in here. With a 7:59 right now. 110, so you can possibly pick up another 20 pins, 30 pins on that. So you'll have to set up for 20 if you can get them. Alright, Sorrell bowling her final ball here in the 10th frame in game number 2. She'll get the spare, wow! We've seen a couple of nice spares in this frame. 769, a 130 for her. Now you got Tierney, who's got, I believe, 5 in a row. 5 strikes in a row. She'd love nothing better than to strike out. Left to 6, left to 6. Alright, she gets this spare, she'll have a 192 plus her throw ball. Covers it easily.
Big fill, Danielle, big fill. Come on, man. A lot of pins.
191. Cougars will be right near what they finished in that first game. He's a 1-3-6. And as soon as the graphic is off the screen, .208 and 805 for the Cougars. 208, 805, so the Cougars are still in the running here, but there's 4 more games to go. We're going to bring you to 3 games. This concludes the second game, and we'll move over and maybe catch a little bit of the B and maybe a little bit of the boys' A, and maybe come back here to the girls to wrap it up. All right, a little less of a crowd around the B's. This is Caleb Hampton. We're in the second frame here of the third game.
Who's going 13-14?
Nick Paquette. He leads the 3-6-10. Got Decos to figure out who's who here in a minute. And Paquette. Picks up the spare. Nick Decos due up in the 12th lane here, waiting for Roberts, Dylan Roberts. Roberts strikes. Now Decos will step up for the Cougars. And he picks up the strike. Bring up Mike Noggle. Noggle leaves double wood to 139. Noggle spares. It's Caleb Hampton. Hampton gets 7 on his first ball. Oh, he got 8. A late drop. He's as surprised as I am. He's the 1-2. Let's see what they're doing so far. Hampton has 2 spares. Paquette has 2 spares, and Roberts has 2 strikes. Hampton has his first open. Now Nick Paquette. Gets the ball in the gutter. Paquette gets 9 for the frame. Now Roberts working on a double. It's a triple. A triple for Dylan Roberts. Let's see what the scoreboard thinks of it. It's a big turkey. Here's Paquette starting the 4th frame. Decos, Nick Decos, with a nice spare. We got Mike Noggle. There's Noggle. He's shooting for the 1-3-6-8-10. Left the 8. Caleb Hampton had his first open in a 3rd. There's the 1-2-4. Left to 2. Brings up Nick Paquette. Leaves the 5 pin. And Paquette spares. It's just to Dylan Roberts. Roberts, I believe, yes, he has 3 strikes. Looking for a 4-bagger. And he's got it. Decos, meanwhile, was bowling in the 5th frame, and he spares. And up Mike Noggle. Picked off the 4-7. It's 8 for the frame. Caleb Hampton up. Left a 1-3-9. Left the 1 pin. Here's Bobcat. Bobcat strikes. Roberts went down, still. Oh no, went across the line. Went across the line. So it's a fault. He's got to bowl it all over again. And in his frustration, he had all those strikes in a row. 4 in a row. Got his 5th one, but faulted. So ends up getting 7 for the frame. There's Dicos.
Going for off Sable Valley, Savannah Ronchuk with a 220. Going for Northeastern Clinton, Danielle Tierney with a 208. Going for Suriname, Clipper with 225.
There's the voice of Chris Welch in the background.
Kenny McDaniel, 250. Christopher Renadette with 248.
Open for Dicos.
Going for THF, Al Ryan, 207.
There's Noggle.
Ryan Bennett, 215. Going for Beavertown, Billy West, 2 Mike Bond, 203.
Noggle picks up his spare. Now Caleb Hampton. North Bowl's a tough place to take from. Hampton looking for his spare. Leaves a double wood. Now Nick Paquette up, he's working on a strike. Decost up for the Cougars. And Paquette picks up his spare. Decost will go for his spare, and Roberts will try to get back on track. Decost gets 9 for the frame. $5-9 left for Roberts. Meanwhile, Nago picks up a strike. Roberts picks up his spare. Hampton's up. Hampton gets 9 in his first ball. Here's our roving reporter, James Tierney.
Okay, as we're checking out the scores, again, we'd like to thank ex-Northeastern coaches Rick Dumas and Chris Welch. They're providing the scoring for the sectionals today. And after 2 games for the girls, we have Saranac in first with a 16:52, followed by Beekmantown with a 16:26. NCCS is in third with 16:21, so they're 31 pins off the pace. And then Sable Valley had a nice 8:69. They're 16:02 in fourth. As we see Nick Paquette shoot 9. On the boys' side, first place is PHSA with 20:26. NCCS Boys A have 15:28. They're 498 pins behind after 2 games. The Boys B, which you're watching right now, they have 14:09 after 2, and they're 635 pins off the pace. As Paquette picks up his spare, again, this is a scratch event, so it's what you get down. There's no handicap involved. It's the same as what they do when they go down to states. I'll give you back to Calvin for the final game.
Thank you for a fine update. Former voice of Cougar Bowling, Jim Tierney. Roberts gets a strike. We thought we'd do a quick check-in on the Cougar A boys. See Hampton and Friend at the line. Hampton will pick up his spare. Here's Friend. He'll get 9 for the frame. They're quite a bit behind, so we'll be able to finish up the B's and come back to these guys. Back at the B's, DeCoste bowling in the 8th frame. DeCoste spares. Here's Noggle. Noggle left what I believe is the 5 pin. He's up Caleb Hampton.
Mikey will get a hold of his father. Okay?
His first ball was in the gutter. Brings up Paquette and DeCoste. Paquette leaves a 1-3-6. DeCoste starting the 9th frame. Leaves just a 1-2. Paquette will get 8 for the frame. DeCoste picks up the spare. Here's Roberts. Roberts gets 9 on his first ball. We'll just Noggle in the 9th. Leaves a 1-2-4. Here's Roberts going for a spare. He will miss it. No, he'll pick it up. There's Noggle going for his spare, and he'll pick it up. That'll bring up Hampton. Hampton gets a late drop for a strike. Paquette. picks up the 4-7-8. And he gets 7 for the frame. Get us back to Roberts. Roberts gets 6 on his first ball here in the 9th. Roberts leaves the pin. That's what the Cougars have done through the first 9 frames. Which is to the 10th and DeCoste. Well, DeCoste strikes out. He has a possible 160. Now possible 150 if he picks up the spare. We've got Beekmantown bowling here with the Cougars. We have no idea if there's anybody here from the 24 viewing area. We have so few people in West Jay-Z who support us that the odds are really against it. I don't know why West Jay-Z chooses not to support hometown cable. Very few people in that area do. Noggle up for the Cougars. DeCoste finished with a 148. Noggle will spare. There's a possible 141. When the bowlers finish this game, they'll be halfway through their day's work. And Noggle strikes. We'll give him a 141. We'll go with DeCoste 148. And now we got Caleb Hampton working on a strike. Oh, left the 3-pin. Hampton's going to miss the spare. So he'll finish with the 119. Bring up Paquette. Left the 4-pin. Working on an open. He'll pick up his spare. So there's a possible 147. And he gets it, a 147 with a strike. Well, there's Dylan Roberts as people jump in front of our camera. Got a 177. Needs a spare. He will miss the spare. Gives him 177. Not a bad game, but he just has to wonder what could have been. Looked like he was going to have a great game, then he had that fault, and he never quite recovered from that. But a 177 is nothing to sneeze at. 732 for the Cougars. We move to the girls. Here's Parker. Two strikes. Now Sorrell. Sorrell gets 8 on our first ball. We're in the, I believe, the 9th frame here. Let's see. Yep, we're in the 9th. Sorrell picked up one like this in the last game, but gets 9 for the frame. Megan Friend bowling in the 10th frame. Tierney finishing up the 9th. Tierney gets a strike. For the turkey. Friend will miss her spare in the 10th. So she'll finish with a 142. So the Cougars are going to be off that 800 mark here. It looks like they're going to hit that 800 this time. The Cougars defending girls champions for Section 7. There's Diso. It's 7. 1, 2, 8. Spare will give her 131 plus her fill ball. And she gets the spare. And she'll get 6 on her fill ball. Gives her a 137. Now Parker working on a strike. Double for Parker. Now going for a triple. At 9. Parker's final fill ball. He misses it. They're a 136. It was at 707. This kid standing in our way here is Quincy Sorrell. Sorrell got 8 pins on her first ball. Left a split, so that's a tough break for her. Got 7 pins on her ball. For a 142. Tierney working on a triple. This will be a down game for the Cougars. Tierney leaves a 1-2-8. Tierney gets 8 for the frame, so a disappointing finish coming in there with a triple. It gives her a 180 and the Cougars a 137. Let's see if the A boys are still going. Here's Cody Hampton. Let's see where we are. I think we're in the 10th. Now we're in the 9th, so we got another frame to go after this one. Hampton picks up the spare. Now we have Adam Bayshard. Leaves a 3-5. Bayshard with the spare. Hampton starting the 10th. Early with the bowling in the 9th. Early with the strike. Hampton going for a spare. Picks it up. There's Martin. It's 20 of 12. As we're taping this, we're going to be late. May not get any of the JV game at Northeastern. Hampton throws it in the gutter. Martin picks up his spare. Well, we got Bayshard and Friend. Bayshard just ready to let it go, and the rack came down. Friend gets a wiggling 4-pin. There's Bayshard. Leaves the 1-2. Hampton finished with a 153, not bad at all. Friend's going to miss his spare. There's Bayshard. Looking to spare and get a fill ball. Nope. He gets, he got it. A little late action, and he got the spare. Wow. Here's Bayshard's last ball of the morning. 3 more games after this. We won't be around for them though. We've got basketball at Northeastern. 155 for Adam Bayshard. Now we've got Chris Burley. It's a split, tough break.
Away from first place by like 60. Not even.
And he will, gave it a nice try, Chris Burley. Well, his last ball in for this season on Hometown Cable was a nice one. Gives him a 155. Now Charlie Martin. Martin gets a split. Got a 116 at the moment. Needs to pick up some pins there. Gives a 118. As the split leaves him with an open in the 10th. So now Friend, who's working on an open, has a 151 coming in. Leaves a 7-pin. Wondering what Danielle Parker's having for lunch. It looks like a sub. Looks like a good one too. Friend picks up the spare. And we're about to see our last Cougar ball for the year. Friend, possible 171. There's Friend. Good place for it. Double pinnacle, but he doesn't have to throw it. There's a 166. Cougars a 747. That's the last ball we'll see this year for the Cougars. We're going to come up with some totals here, hopefully, so don't go away.